The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, Dover Abridged Edition. Chapter 2, Father and Son. Let us leave Danglars struggling with his feeling of hatred and trying to whisper some evil insinuation against his comrade into their master's ear, and let us follow Dantès, who, after having run along the Canebière, turned down the Rue Noailles. Here he entered a small house situated to the left of the Allée des Mahons, ran up the 4 flights of dark stairs, and, trembling with excitement, stopped before a half-open door which revealed the interior of the little room. It was the room which Dantès' father inhabited. The news of the Pharaon's arrival had not yet reached the old man, who was mounted on a chair, and, with a hand trembling with old age, was busy staking some nasturtiums that, intermingled with clematis, climbed up the trellis before his window. Suddenly he felt an arm thrown round him, and a well-known voice called out, "Father! My dear old dad!" With a cry of joy, the old man turned round and saw his son. Pale and visibly trembling, he threw his arms around him. "What ails you, father?" the young man anxiously inquired. "Are you ill?" No, my dear Edmund, my boy, my son, not at all. But I was not expecting you, and the joy at suddenly seeing you again has given me rather a shock." "Well, calm yourself, father. It was really I. They say that joy never harms anyone, so I came in without warning. I've come back, and we're going to be happy together." "That's right, my boy," replied the old man. "But in what way are we going to be happy? You are not going to leave me any more? Come now, tell me how you have fared." "May God forgive me that I should rejoice in good fortune brought about by another's death. Goodness knows I never sought it. It has happened, and I have not the strength to regret it. Our good old Captain Leclerc is dead, father, and it is probable that with Monsieur Morrel's assistance I shall take his place. Do you understand, father? A captain at 20, with a salary of 100 louis, besides a share in the profits. Isn't it really more than a poor sailor like me could hope for?" "Yes, my son, yes, it certainly is," said the old man. "With my first pay, I shall buy you a little house with a garden where you can plant your clematis, your nasturtiums, and your honeysuckle." "But, father, what is the matter? You don't look well." "It is nothing. It will soon pass," said the old man, but his strength failed him, and he fell backward. "This will never do," exclaimed the youth. "A glass of wine will soon put you right. Tell me where you keep it," he continued, opening one cupboard after another. "It's useless to look for it," said the old man. "There is no wine." "What? No wine?" said the young man, turning pale and looking first at the old man's sunken and pallid cheeks and then at the bare cupboards. "No wine? Have you been in want of money, father?" "I have not wanted for anything now that you are here," said the old man. "Yet," stammered Edmund, wiping the perspiration from his brow, "yet when I went away 3 months ago, I left you 200 francs. "True enough, but you forgot a little debt you owed to our neighbor Caderousse. He reminded me of it and told me that if I did not pay it for you, he would go to Monsieur Morrel for the money. Fearing that might do you harm, I paid it for you." "But," cried Dantès, "I owed Caderousse 140 francs. Do you mean to say that you paid him that sum out of the 200 francs I left you?" The old man nodded. "So that you have lived for 3 months on 60 francs. You know that I require very little." "May God forgive me," cried Edmund, throwing himself on his knees before his father. "Nay, nay," said the old man with a quiet smile. "Now that you are with me again, the past is all forgotten and all is well." "Yes," said the young man. "Here I am with a little money in my pockets and a good future before me. Here, father, take some money. Take some and send for something good to eat and drink." So saying, he emptied the contents of his pocket on the table, a dozen pieces of gold, 5 or 6 crowns, and some smaller coins. His father's face brightened. "Whose is that?" said he. "Mine, yours, ours. Take some, buy some provisions, and be happy, for we shall have some more tomorrow." "Gently, gently," said the old man, smiling. "If you don't mind, I shall spend your money warily. If people see me buying too many things at a time, they will think I have had to wait for your return before buying them. But hush, here comes someone. It's Caderousse, who has no doubt heard of your arrival, and has come to welcome you home." At that moment Caderousse entered. He was a man of 5 or 6 and 20, with a mass of black hair. He carried in his hand a piece of cloth, which, in his capacity of tailor, he was going to turn into a coat lining. "So, you have come back, Edmund?" he said, with a strong Marseille accent, and with a broad smile that disclosed teeth as white as ivory. "Yes, as you perceive, neighbor Caderousse, and ready to serve you in any way," Dantès answered, but ill concealing his coldness by these civil words. "Thank you. Happily I am not in need of anything. It is sometimes others who have need of my assistance." Dantès made a slight movement. "I don't mean that for you, boy. I lent you money and you returned it. That was but a neighborly action, and we are now quits." "We are never quits with those who oblige us," said Dantès. "When we no longer owe them money, we owe them gratitude." "Why speak of it? What is past is gone and done with. Let us talk of your happy return. It would appear that you have had a stroke of luck and are already well in Monsieur Morrel's good books." "Monsieur Morrel has always been very kind to me." "In that case, you were wrong to refuse to dine with him." "What? Refuse to dine with him?" exclaimed old Dantès. "So he asked you to dinner, did he?" "Yes, father," returned Edmund with a smile, "because, you know, I wanted to come to you as soon as possible." "I don't suppose your dear kind Monsieur Morrel was overpleased at that," said Caderousse. "And of course when a man aims at being captain he mustn't offend his employer. You should butter him up a bit." "Oh, I hope to be captain without doing that," replied Dantès. "Capital! That will please your old friends, and I know someone who won't be sorry to hear it." "Do you mean Mercédès?" said the old man. "Yes," Edmund replied, "and now that I have seen you, father, and assured myself that you are well and want for nothing, I will ask your permission to leave for a time. I am anxious to see Mercédès." "Go, my son, go," said old Dantès, "and may God bless you and your wife as he has blessed me and my son." Edmund took leave of his father, nodded to Caderousse, and went out. Caderousse waited a few minutes, and then he also descended the stairs and joined Danglars, who had been waiting for him at the corner of the Rue Senac. "Well," said Danglars, "did you see him?" "I have just left him," said Caderousse. "Did he speak of his hopes of becoming captain?" "He spoke as if it were quite settled." "Patience," said Danglars. "It seems to me he is in too much of a hurry." "But I believe Mr. Morrel has even promised him the captaincy." "Pooh!" said Danglars. "He is not captain yet. He's still in love with the beautiful Catalan. Head over ears. He has just gone to see her. But if I'm not greatly mistaken, there is a storm brewing in that direction." "What do you mean?" "I do not know anything for certain, but I have seen things which make me think the future captain will not have it all his own way up at the Ville Infirmeries." "What have you seen?" "Every time that Mercédès has come to town lately, she has been accompanied by a tall, gay young Catalan with black eyes and red complexion, who seems very attentive to her, and whom she addresses as cousin." "Really? And do you think he is making love to her?" "I suppose so. What else would a man of 21 be doing with a beautiful young girl of 17? "And you say Dantès has gone to the Catalans?" "He left before me." Let us go in the same direction. We can turn in at La Réserve and await events over a glass of wine.